this magic moment, so different and so new, was like any other, until I met you, and then it happened.
Here we are for episode 7 of this magic moment, where the one everybody's been screaming for. What does 37-year-old John Forward think of the Harry Potter series, having watched it for the first time in his old age, and the other comedians are jumping on this runaway success. We had David Miles Holland Hall last week, and we've got Brian Godsoe, who just couldn't stay away.
I picked the worst one to come on, too.
This is not even in the top 3 of the worst ones so far.
Oh, yeah? I mean, I haven't listened to a single episode, so what are your worst ones so far?
5, I think, is my least favorite so far, mostly because it turns into just a straight-up teen romance movie for what feels like at least an hour.
And to be fair, that's one of the least interesting books. It's kind of a mess. It's too long. It sort of loses the thread.
They spend way too long just not doing magic stuff, just trying to find dates for the dance. And Hermione gets groped by a douche. And the last one, the last one was an Order of the Phoenix. It was, I forget what the last one was. Chamber, no,
it's, what was it called?
Consult the notes. See, this is all notes. The Half-Blood Prince. David thought that was his least favorite. The one in between, part 5, I think is my favorite. The Order of the Phoenix one so far. And then 6 was a step back, but it's not quite as bad as 4.
Yeah, 4 I have my own personal problems with, only because I like the book so much.
Yeah, 5 completely skips. There's very little teen romance. Just a merry band of anarchists fighting the power, so I'm on board.
Oh yeah, no, that's cranking material for you.
Yeah. So we're on part 7, which is part 1 of 2 of book 7. So, you've seen all these movies before.
Yeah.
Probably not since they came out.
Not this one in particular, and I might have seen the first 2 maybe more than a couple of times, just because of when they came out, but yeah, no, these, the latter half, I've only really seen once. I've read the books a few times.
There are very few books that I've read more than once. There's no shortage of books in the world, and I would always rather read something I've never read before.
Well, fuck me, right? Just
yeah.
for enjoying some characters to read a series of books twice.
Yeah, I can't think. I think I may have read Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas twice. That might be the only book that I've read more.
That argument falls apart considering that you're watching Puppet Master 4 or 5 times.
Yeah, well, that's for the podcast. I'm not sitting around watching Puppet Master. Movies.
Just rubbing the real coat of fucking hook hand there against your face like a blanket.
If I can share a classic film with a new friend, then I'm more likely to revisit it. But if I had kids, then we'd sit down and we would watch Puppet Master together, and I'd rock them gently to sleep and barf leeches on their faces.
Yeah, just like in the stories.
Have you experienced any of the Harry Potter series with your children? Or do you have plans to introduce it to them?
Sort of by proxy. Gage's started reading them with his mom, and I've talked to him about that. I haven't read the books with him myself or seen the movies with myself, but we've spoken about it.
Well, lucky for him, there's a whole series of podcasts that he can listen along. So we're at Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows, Part 1, from Book 7. So I didn't mind this one. It's not a good kids movie. Like, it's not inappropriate, but I would think, like, I don't mind the kind of, like, political backroom dealing aspect to it, but it's a weird vibe for, like, a kid's fantasy movie.
That wasn't even the part that sort of turned me off on it. The part that turned me off on it was just a... Just a bad action movie. Like, there were all these, like, little wizard gunfights that were just poorly filmed and just completely uninteresting. I made out during most of this movie, and it has to do with those gunfights almost specifically. Like, when something like that was happening on screen, I just tune out completely.
Violence turns you on, and you've got to stick your tongue down someone's throat. The gunfights, I haven't watched it, but I saw online recently. I don't know if it was made recently or if I just saw somebody tweet it, but somebody, like, CGI'd out all the wands in various, like, wand fights and replaced them with guns. And I haven't watched the actual video, but I am aware of their existence, and now you are too, Brian, and the listeners, all 10 of you.
Oh, great! Yeah, we'll have a whole podcast based on that.
I was actually going to comment that this has the running through the forest magic wand gunfight was stupid. I was going to comment that this had some of the better action sequences of the series so far, I thought. The chase scene when they're trying to move Harry Potter and they've got all the Harry Potter clones, I thought was pretty well done.
It was okay. The ending where Harry Potter was dueling with Voldemort, the twin wands, that was kind of interesting.
Yeah, and they're flying through the sky, which I have mixed feelings on the various flying scenes that are in a lot of these movies.
For some reason, Hagrid's motorcycle bothers me, and I can't put my finger on it.
Well, it's stupid.
Yeah, it's just dumb and like weirdly British or something. Like, I just don't get it.
But I like how it allows it to kind of transition from like an air battle to like driving down the street in traffic. They don't really address that.
Nobody can see this happening?
Well, can they? I don't know.
I don't know either. I was wondering that last night, too.
That would be a big news story, I would think.
Yeah, like a giant bear-like man fights with other man broomstick with umbrella.
And I thought the snake fight that happens later when they go to visit the old lady and she turns into a snake, that was pretty good. Yeah,
the surprise basilisk.
Yeah. Yeah, that's another thing. I'm confused because my mind tells me that a basilisk. I'm picturing it like from Magic the Gathering, where the picture on the basilisk card is like looks like an iguana. So that's what I always thought a basilisk was. So in these movies, when it's like a snake, that seems odd to me.
What the fuck did I get myself into going on this for?
Is a basilisk a real thing, or is that like a fantasy creature?
I feel like it's a fantasy creature. I have no idea. I guess I could look it up.
Oh, we this is all about just wild pontifications and not looking anything up.
Oh yeah, that's before I just started fiddling with Google here.
Yeah. The snake fight was good. So the story of this movie. So in the last one, Voldemort. Well, Snape. Who's not in this one very much. He's in it at the beginning.
Oh, basilisks are real. The common basilisk, Basiliscus basiliscus, is a species of lizard in the family Coryphonidae. The species is endemic to Central America and South America, where it is found near rivers and streams and rainforests. So, there you go. The common basilisk, as you will.
What does it look like? Yeah, it's a snake. All right.
Yep.
Well, I guess that one, this one... And nobody can see this. That's kind of that's what I was picturing, but
like a weird looking iguana kind of thing?
Yeah, I think that's what the Magic the Gathering card looks like. So the story, the previous movie, Snape kills Voldemort at the
Dumbledore.
Yeah, that's right. He kills Dumbledore at the behest of Voldemort. I hate the names and just the kind of blah, blah, blah.
I picked out a name in particular, Mundungus.
Yeah,
it's maybe the worst fucking name.
McGarnagle, she's not in this one at all, I don't think.
These are worse names than Star Wars names.
Yeah, and Muggle, I don't know. They've got a vibe. I don't know what you would call it.
Nonsense?
Yeah. So Dumbledore is dead. Voldemort is amassing power. There's newspapers like the bad guy faction is just straight up murdering Muggles now. There's lots of exposition in newspapers in these movies, which I think is a pretty efficient way to just say stuff that's probably more fleshed out.
Yeah,
in the book.
It's kind of like a hack device to speed stuff along. It's kind of interesting how quickly the Wizarding World just fell into full-on fascism in like a 2-week period.
That started, there was, I think there was they set up the blonde kid as like an Aryan pretty early on in the series.
Yeah, but they didn't nothing about the Wizarding World seemed like it was going to fall into like the second we get someone that says it's okay to kill non-magic people, we're in.
Well, and it wasn't really clear. Like in part 3 is when Draco Malfoy starts calling Hermione a mudblood, which is pretty racist.
That's the N-word of the Wizarding World, pretty much.
And
like a hard U.
So there's lots of talk about these progressives think that we should be breeding with the Muggles. Gross. And there's like a real, we don't want to dilute the bloodline Aryan vibe going.
There's already kind of segregation. I mean, like, they have school for non-magic people. They have school for magic people. You can't really go to that magic school if you're not magic.
Yeah. Yeah, well, the magic people, I think, they would have to be the minority of the overall population.
Yeah, but they're
powerful,
more,
I guess.
Yeah, they're more superior. They apparently, and this is something I found out recently, like in ancient times in Hogwarts, like they wouldn't, just according to the lore, I don't know if this is J.K. Rowling nonsense or whatnot, but they would just...
it's the real history
of Hogwarts. Yeah, the real history of fucking Hogwarts. They wouldn't go to like a toilet or a chamber pot, they'd just shit on the floor and magic away the shit wherever they were going.
That sounds familiar. They might have mentioned that in one of the movies.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Or maybe David told me. I don't know. David's hardcore.
I made the mistake of almost getting into a Harry Potter discussion with him at the last... So
Voldemort and his crew become... the scariest monsters of all, politicians. they're sitting at a big long table having like their evil behind the scenes, and this is unrealistic because how could the bad guys take over the government? If there's democracy, you can just vote the bad people out, right? Anyway, that has been the libertarian moment for this podcast.
I tuned out, John.
We'll move on.
Let the market decide, alright?
And they've infiltrated and not very secretly taken over the Ministry of Magic. They've even replaced, I don't know what the old statue used to be, but there's like a pretty hardcore, blatantly evil statue like in the lobby where there's like a big magic symbol and it says magic is might, and then like the base of the statue is a bunch of Muggles getting crushed under the concrete.
That's RP's depicting universal basic income.
Yeah, it's got like a really, it's a weird vibe for a kids movie to all of a sudden turn into kind of like a dark, like political backstabbing kind of subplot. Like it starts out and the WB logo is all rusty. Yeah. And Daniel Radcliffe has a little bit of scruff on his face in this one for the gritty reimagining of Harry Potter.
That's what we need, is a gritty take on Harry Potter.
The score sounds like something that should be on like a Batman movie soundtrack.
It was like a Christopher Nolan Harry Potter movie.
Yeah. That's maybe they should do that as
just give Christopher Nolan like the Philosopher's Stone.
Yeah. There's people being murdered. Hermione, she has to wipe her family's memory that she ever existed, and she erases herself from the pictures.
Back to the Future's herself out of the picture. And then, like, one thing I noticed too, Like, they're gonna think it's strange when they come out of that haze and, oh, I love that photograph of a blue background.
Yeah.
Oh, look, an empty cradle.
Here's me cradling the air in my arms.
She sucks at magic Photoshop, basically.
We get a brief glimpse of Harry Potter's hateful, abusive aunt and uncle and cousin, but they're just packing up the car because they're afraid of being murdered. And Harry has a bit of a grin on his face, like, I hope you get murdered, you fucking... And he should.
He was looking fondly back at the closet they made him live in.
Yeah, that was a weird, a stroll down memory lane in his little slave quarters that he used.
Real nostalgic for pissing in the corner.
That's another thing that is totally weird. It's in the other movies, it's often the funniest part, just the over-the-top how much his family hates him and they're wildly emotionally abusive. But yeah, they aren't. They take a few movies off. They weren't in the last one at all. In this one, they just get kind of. We see them packing up the car, but they don't say anything funny. So that was a little bit disappointing.
Do you think Carrie was a wizard that just never got her letter to Hogwarts?
Who's Carrie?
From the Stephen King.
Oh, probably. Although in the Harry Potter universe, you can't do magic unless you've got a little wooden stick in your hand, which is a weird conceit, but I'm just so used to... most of the time when there's magic in movies, it's not like you need the thing to kind of maybe focus it, but
yeah.
I feel like magicians can still do stuff if they don't... Oh no, I lost my twig.
Yeah, they can still pull a rabbit out of a hat without a wand.
Yeah, I feel like Gandalf can still do stuff without his staff.
Well, that's how you know Chris Angel is fake. He doesn't have a wand.
Yeah, we should have all known. So Muggles are being murdered. They don't even go to Hogwarts at all this year.
Oh, they kind of do. They show, because for some reason people still show up at school, and they were like
the Magic Civil War.
Yeah, they were like, yeah. By the way, a wedding in the middle of this Magic Civil War as well too.
Yeah, they just introduce another Weasley family member to have a wedding while they're hiding from a murderous super wizard. They introduce this new character just so that, or no, they don't die. The guy with the googly eye dies.
Oh, Mad Eye?
Yeah, kind of just unceremoniously. They're like, yeah, he didn't come back.
Yeah.
They don't show it.
And one thing I noticed, the Weasley dad, he just kind of looks like a California raisin. I never noticed that before.
What do you mean?
Like, do you remember the California raisins?
Yeah.
He looks like the one with the saxophone. Just something, he's got a misshapen head is what I'm getting at, John.
All right.
Trying to put some comedy in your serious Harry Potter review podcast.
There's not much to be had from the Weasley clan in this movie except for Ron, who's one of the main characters, but his sister shows up just to get Harry Potter all horned up and asks him to zip up the back of her dress and then makes out with him in front of one of the other brothers. And the other brother sneaks in and is winks at them after they're done making out, which was weird.
He's just kind of sitting there enjoying it with a straw sticking out of his ear, so because he lost his ear, I guess.
Yeah. I don't like Ron Weasley as a character. He has a very slappable face, and he's kind of an incel.
Yeah, he's an extra incel in this one. He's out in the middle of the woods, talking about Harry like he's a Chad, taking away his woman.
That was another weird thing that they set up. So all this is happening, and Harry is worried about getting murdered, and everybody's trying to keep him safe. But Harry's like, we need to find these Horcruxes. Because there's Voldemort's soul or whatever is split up into 7 pieces, and they've got 2 of them for sure. They found the 3rd one in the last movie, but it was just a decoy Horcrux. So they've got to find that one, which they do. We've still got 4 more Horcruxes to go in part 2.
Yeah.
But it's this gem on a necklace.
It's like a locket that Umbridge, who by the way, apparently, and I found this out last night talking to Rachel, but apparently it's implied at the end of the book, The Order of the Phoenix, that when they let her off into the woods, she gets raped by a centaur.
Yeah, I forgot about... Well, I didn't pick up on the rape implication, but she definitely gets dragged off into the woods by the centaurs.
She's getting that large centaur dick.
She's a good villain. They didn't use her much, again, because, I hate an evil politician. And yeah, she's back for more educational reform in this one.
Smaller classrooms.
She's wearing the magic Voldemort necklace. For some reason, it's not even clear that she knows what it is, but she wanted it because somebody else stole it from Sirius Black's, their secret boys hangout spot. And anyway, they just show up to get the thing back from her, and there's some face, Nicolas Cage, John Travolta face off.
Oh yeah, they just knock 3 people out and just take their identities completely.
Yeah, I thought it was funny when Ron Weasley, the person who he's pretending to be, his wife is on trial for having a magic wand when she's not supposed to be. So we've got a gun control argument going on in the movie.
Oh, Jesus Christ, John! No wonder you love this one so much.
But she ends up kissing Ron because she thinks it's her husband, and then Ron switches back mid kiss, and then the husband shows up.
Who's that? Yeah,
I don't know how the husband escaped from wherever they knocked them out. But
interesting postscript to that. After the Deathly Hallows, that woman goes on to become a pedophile.
Yeah. Well, Ron, once they've got a taste for it, they can't stop.
It's like blood in the water. Yeah.
But I was gonna say, so they're when they finally get the necklace, it doesn't really take much. It's like one scene. They take it from Umbridge, and then they take off. They take turns wearing the necklace. That kind of turns them into assholes.
Why did they do that? Hermione's got this purse that is magic and can hold everything that they need.
Yeah,
but they're taking turns wearing a necklace that just makes them angry at each other.
I assume it's just safer to have it close by, because somebody could just grab the bag and take off. I guess it's harder to snatch it off someone's neck.
Yeah, but that was never said, right? That's just left for you to determine.
Yeah, so they take turns being jerks to each other, and Harry's a jerk to Hermione for not. I don't really understand what happened to Ron either. When they run away from the Ministry of Magic with the Horcrux, one of the bad guys kind of jumps into the teleporter with him, which somehow leads to Ron Weasley having a mangled arm that's not really explained.
No, he grabbed him by the arm. You could see him grab him, but where'd that guy go?
Yeah, I thought maybe it was going to be like The Fly, where the two of them got combined.
The rest of the movie's just about Ron slowly falling apart and vomiting acid.
Yeah, and when they show him laying on the ground and he can't really see him, I thought it was going to look like The Thing, where they're just kind of twisted together. But he's got kind of a gross horror movie special effect, the lacerations on his arm. That would be kind of frightening for kids, I think.
Oh, and she reaches in her magic bag and finds the magical potion that heals all wounds.
Yeah. But when
there's no urgency in this world.
When Ron Weasley starts acting like a super incel, I thought maybe that guy was somehow swapped out for him, or was secretly. Maybe he is. Don't spoil it for me if that's what it turns out to be.
I don't remember if it is.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Ron has a redemption later on, but he's all pissed and he gets jealous because Harry and Hermione are making googly eyes at each other for some reason. I don't really understand what was happening.
I think it's misinterpreted as googly eyes. I don't Harry and Hermione are brother and sister.
But that's what they set it up as, and it's Ron's just being a dick because he's wearing the necklace, and then they take the necklace off and he's still being a dick and storms off into the forest.
Well, that's because Ron has no self-esteem.
But then it turns out that Ron was kind of right, because Harry Potter makes a move on Hermione. They have a slow dance to a fucking Nick Cave song for some reason.
I didn't read that as sexual though. I read that as
I read that as, well, now that he's out of the picture, I read that as he was making a move.
No,
have you ever just approached one of your female friends and just do you want to slow dance alone? That's a weird...
Well, I never tried to pick up someone's spirits who thought her entire family was murdered in a magic war. So.
Yeah, I suppose. I don't know. I read it as a move. They
like that's something you would do. You're like, hey, now that he's gone, why don't we fucking this magic done?
Yeah, the whole Weasley family should be mad at Harry Potter. That instance, he's moving in on Ron Weasley's girl and cheating on Ginny Weasley, who, after he got to zip up the back of her dress, I guess Harry got what he wanted from her.
I'm wondering if you're wearing the necklace, John. I think you're just misreading it completely.
Yeah, but anyway, and then it turns out they have a hard time breaking the necklace, and they need. There's a will reading for Dumbledore where he gives them all like a thing that they're going to very specifically need throughout this movie.
Yeah, like a book and a snitch, and
yeah, the snitch, and it's also weird that Dumbledore kept the snitch from Harry Potter's first Quidditch match and only gave it to him when he died.
He's just holding it at a shrine. He's got all these moving pictures of Harry Potter just in a
isn't that something that Harry should have gotten his own game ball? I guess, instead of just Dumbledore, hanging on to it.
Then how's Dumbledore just gonna smell it when no one's watching?
Yeah, we get to see Harry smooch it later, and it reveals the secret message. But anyway, they have a hard time breaking the necklace, and then Hermione, through the little storybook that she got in the will, realizes that she needs to... that the Sword of Gryffindor, is that right? Is that what it's called?
Sword of Gryffindor, yeah.
Is the thing that can break the Horcruxes, they realize, because it can't be... I don't remember any of this being set up previously, that it absorbs things. It's got
basilisk venom in it.
Well, I know he used it to fight the basilisk. I think that was part 2. I don't remember. I remember the basilisk fight, but I don't remember the sword being any special part of it. I just watched it like 3 weeks ago.
Was that mentioned as a part of the Deathly Hallows stories when they go to the magic hippies place and...
the sword?
Yeah.
No,
it was the Elder Wand, the invisibility cloak, and the magic rock.
Yeah, and I assume the invisibility cloak is Harry's dad's invisibility cloak that they used like 3 movies in a row and then just forgot about. Nobody seems to have made that connection, so I think they want to set it up like that's a surprise when it's not. Yeah,
if they're hiding from murder wizards, wouldn't he just be wearing that cloak all the time?
Yeah, he should be. So the titular Deathly Hallows, which we find out from Luna's dad. Luna, I think, is my favorite of the kid characters, just because she's a weirdo.
She's just naturally on acid.
Yeah,
her entire childhood.
They don't do much with
dosing her in
and her dad is, I don't know what's going on with him. He's just straight up like dangerously insane. I'm not sure. Why
does he drop a dime on them? Like they mention, he's desperate. Well, desperate for what?
They kidnapped Luna. She was in the she was in the cell that they meet up with later.
When they go to Bellatrix's house.
So the Deathly Hallows, to me, before watching this movie, I thought was like a group of like evil wizards or something, but I guess it's just 3 doodads. So there's like a super ultra wand, and there's a stone that brings people back from the dead, and there's an invisibility cloak.
I mean, like, you're not going to sell a lot of books with Harry Potter and the 3 doodads.
Yeah, and whoever owns all 3 of those things is like gonna rule the world, because being able to have like a super wand and be in the invisibility thing is also to hide from death, so you're immortal, I guess, and being able to raise the dead, I guess. Like, if you have all of those 3, you're unstoppable, I think, is what they were going for. What did you think of the cartoon that explained like the story? That was interesting.
Yeah, I thought that was the best part of the movie, actually.
A straight up hanging suicide happens in it. Super dark.
Beloved childhood story, Harry Potter.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what. I don't know. They don't really do anything with the Deathly Hallows concept. It's kind of introduced late in the game, and then jumping ahead, Voldemort finds the super wand at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
From Dumbledore's coffin, which I don't know, why didn't he give that to Harry?
Oh, it would have been funny to see like if he had henchmen with him, and all of a sudden like he goes to grab the wand, he's like, oh my god, I'm just playing you guys, like Voldemort with a sense of humor for once.
Yeah. Yeah, there's Voldemort's a little bit more of a dandy in this movie. He was a bit more of a menacing figure in the other ones, but in this one,
Dandy.
this one he's just
You're just finding a fancy way of calling Voldemort gay.
no, in a non-homophobic way.
Dandy. He's having a rollicking good time.
But yeah, and they don't really. It's not really established that, we need to get all three of these things, or we need to stop Voldemort from getting all three of these things. It turns out Voldemort only gives a shit about one of them, the magic wand, and then he just gets it, and then the movie's over.
I have a feeling in part 2, because I don't remember. Maybe he makes a bigger deal about getting the cloak and the stone, but...
Yeah, they set up early on with the wands. Voldemort, when they're having like their politician meeting, says something about like Harry and his wand are like twins, so he can't hurt Harry. So he just bitches out Malfoy Senior and just takes his wand, and he's just like, yeah, I'm taking it, and he just alpha dogs him for no reason.
Yeah, and Malfoy's looking terrified in this one, like he's not sure he picked the right side.
Well, Malfoy Senior just gets bitched out. Malfoy Junior is on the verge of tears this whole movie.
Yeah,
he's like, "Oh my god, I don't want to be a bad boy. So
I don't want to be a Nazi."
So I assume that they're setting him up for a babyface turn in the next movie.
I think maybe. I honestly
because
don't remember.
He was the one that was supposed to kill Dumbledore in the last one, but he wusses out and Snape comes in. Snape, I'm not really sure how that's going to go either. They've gone back and forth on tricking us into thinking he's a good guy and a bad guy.
He looks like Magic Morrissey in this.
Yeah, like every other movie, he's a good guy or a bad guy, much like the puppets in Puppet Master.
Oh, shut up.
So we're not really sure, and it seems like Snape had a conversation with Dumbledore where it was almost like, you need to kill me this very specific way, and somehow that will help out in the end. That seems to be what they're angling at. But yeah, we don't get a lot of Snape, and I don't even know if he has any lines. They show him.
I think he just says something at the beginning, and that's it.
Yeah, so he's got a seat at the table because he killed Dumbledore, and I guess they're setting it up that he's not even trying to hide now. He's just straight up bad guy, which I think is just, they're leaning further into that for him to actually be a good guy. At the very least, he's just not on either side, and we'll just pick the winner, I guess.
Just playing the appropriate side, the winning
guy. He's a chaotic neutral in Dungeons and Dragons. So yeah, a lot of the movie they don't really do much beyond the opening section with the Muggle murders.
They spend so much time in the woods. Like, I feel like they spent
they're just
an hour and a half
hiding,
in the woods.
And then Hermione just makes Harry Potter's face look all mangled so that they don't recognize him for about 3 minutes in the movie. There's lots of very elaborate magic to just immediately be pointless. They do the face thing, which everybody sees through. And then, like, in the beginning, there's a whole scene where they're making, like, Harry Potter doppelgangers, which is funny because I think the only time that I think I might have had a little bit of a chuckle when everybody was, like, right before they transformed into Harry Potter after taking the potion, everybody just starts making weird faces, and it looks like they're making fun of Daniel Radcliffe. Like, this is what you look like, and they just contort their face to look really stupid.
If his chin was a little higher, he'd look like the annoying orange, actually. Yeah. I discovered in that scene, but...
Daniel Radcliffe's his acting is better in this one and the previous one. The first few movies, he's just brutal, especially when he's acting.
He's just a kid.
He's just acting against like some sort of CGI creation. He's not good at it. He's not good at laughing or smiling. He doesn't do any giddy like clapping in this movie, which I found annoying in the others.
I think this is right around the time when he was trying like other things as well too. Like he was in was Horns before or after this, for example.
I've got it on my shelf there actually. I'm not. I think it was probably after. I assume probably just while these movies were being made, they wouldn't let him be in a horror movie.
Yeah, he needs to. But he immediately first chance he got was. To try and differentiate himself from the Harry Potter role, so he didn't just get typecast.
Yeah, and like this is my first time seeing this series. So in the other stuff that I've seen him in, before Harry Potter, I saw him in Horns and Guns Akimbo more recently.
Was that any good?
It's okay. It's worth watching. Horns is good.
Yeah, Horns is excellent.
Horns is weird because I read the book beforehand, and there's a lot missing from the book. So I feel like it's. It feels like it would be confusing to somebody who hasn't read the book but may never read it, and you seem to make sense of it. There's a lot of stuff that's skipped. It's the same thing with the movie John dies at the end. Like, the movie just completely skips over the whole middle section of the book. But I guess it still makes sense for our non-reading fans out there.
I actually couldn't finish the movie because I like the book so much that I just didn't care for it.
I don't remember much about the second one. There's spiders in this, or whatever it's called.
Oh, I didn't even know there was a second one.
There's a third one, too. I haven't read that yet. But, yeah, who else we got? We've got an attempted assassination in the coffee shop. I thought that was a decent... It's another wand gunfight, though.
Just, like, the sound they made, just like, fip, 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 fip. And, like, the action just wasn't interesting. Is the Harry Potter... Like, that's another thing that wasn't clear to me, because I know the evil wizards are just straight up murdering people with the murder spell, but, like, has Harry Potter and friends moved on to murder, or are they still stunning?
I don't think they've murdered anybody yet.
Because there was a shot of a guy...
I guess they sent Umbridge out to get raped by centaurs.
I mean, you know, that's not as bad as murder, but... the coffee shop battle, there was a guy who had his eyes rolled in the back of his head in the aftermath of it.
Or in that scene they talked about, like, let's murder him, and they were like, no, we can't. And then they just decide... Did they get any information or anything out of them?
No, they just had a battle. The poor woman that's manning the place on her own comes out, and Hermione yells at her to leave with 3 corpses in the corner.
Yeah, I enjoyed the various mudblood propaganda that was shown in the movie. Just like evil, like posters, like warning people about the dangers of mudbloods. And when they looked in somebody's drawer, they opened it up and there was a novel, "When Muggles Attack." It was pretty funny. I've got in my notes, like, when that guy's that we talked about, that guy's wife that was on trial, it was like a reverse witch trial. It was like, you're not a witch, and that was like what they're trying to convict her of. There's also something going on that doesn't really, I don't know if they come back to it, but there's somebody that knows Dumbledore. I think that old lady that turns into a snake. It wasn't really clear. She had a different... I don't know who Rita Skeeter is. She might be the reporter that was in...
Yeah, she was.
In the first movie.
Let's pour one out for Hedwig, too, by the way.
Oh, yeah. Well, I've been waiting for Hedwig to die because you mentioned it when we talked about this on 4-Story Walk-Up, and I wasn't sure if you were joking or not. Like, I knew Dumbledore was going to die.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I wasn't sure if Hedwig was going to die, because who gives a shit about Hedwig?
Apparently nobody, is what we found out. Yeah, like, no, Hedwig didn't get mourned whatsoever.
Hedwig doesn't do anything in any... They don't really... I'm sure it's more fleshed out in the book, but they don't really explain what I assume it's a familiar. I don't think they ever use that word.
Yeah, they all get, like... they don't say familiar, but everyone gets a pet.
Yeah, basically. But nobody does anything with their pets in any of these movies.
Well, Hedwig took a bullet for Harry Potter. Yeah. What happened, but...
Well, was that... Okay, that makes more sense. I thought that the guy just shot Hedwig on purpose. I didn't realize that Hedwig was, like, throwing himself in front of the Harry Potter bullet.
And Hedwig also went for the guy's face, too.
Yeah. Yeah, what else? Oh, yeah, so I was going to say there's somebody that knew Dumbledore that is, like, talking trash about him in the media and has some sort of expose book that maybe was written with Rita Skeeter. Maybe this other person is Rita's source that's talking shit about Dumbledore and writing, like, a tell-all book about Dumbledore's, like, dark secrets.
Oh, the Grindelwald stuff?
Yeah.
I guess they don't name him in this one yet, do they? The Grindelwald?
The name sounds familiar, so I think they did. I don't remember who he is, or... They make a weird thing. They keep zooming in on that old guy that keeps writing, like, the nice stories in the newspaper about Dumbledore. They focus on that character a lot for somebody that just disappears.
I
feel like there's more to that guy.
I think maybe they'll talk about Grindelwald more in part 2, but he's fairly important.
Yeah. Another thing I've got in my notes, when they Harry Potter needs to talk to the necklace to open it up so that Ron can hit it with the sword. I'm not sure why that needed to be a 2-man operation.
Yeah, the necklace just opened up to show, like, PS2 era CGI models of Hermione making out with Harry Potter.
Yeah, naked Harry Potter and Hermione. Like, they were at least topless.
Yeah, what if they just let it go for a while and it was just full-on pornography for a bit?
And weird CGI. That's Ron's biggest fear. Nude teens making out in front of him.
Yeah, he's an incel.
Yeah.
He doesn't understand sex. He knows he's Odin.
The Three Brothers cartoon was good. I like these movies when they lean into the kind of dark horror stuff. Although it's odd for... Like, the monsters are pretty... Like, Voldemort... The look of him is cool, I think.
The conceit of Voldemort's kind of interesting, too, like just as a magic Hitler type.
But. Are they going to explain what happened to his face? Because he looked normal, like, in the flashbacks. I don't answer that, but...
I don't think so.
I guess just when you get evil, you turn ugly.
Yeah.
There's that Peter guy, I forget his last name, who is helping out Voldemort, but is just kind of the bitch in this movie that is like their butler.
Was Mundungus helping him? Like, Mundungus betrayed them in some way, didn't they?
Who's Mundungus?
You know, the weird fucking like Guy Ritchie type magic character from the beginning? Then they corner him in the house.
Oh, he's the one that stole the necklace and Umbridge got it from him?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what his deal was. Yeah.
Like, we need a Guy Ritchie character.
He was just somebody that got bullied by some children and immediately spilled the beans. Or did they have... I don't even think they had to do a spell on him. Dobby the elf makes his return. I remember him... I don't remember which movie he was introduced in.
I want to say 2? Chamber of Secrets?
I remember him being very annoying in the other one, not so much in this one. At the time, I think I said on the podcast that Dobby feels like he's going to be the Jar Jar Binks of the series, where they bring him in, but everyone hates the character, so they just push him to the background.
Yeah.
And, so they forgot about Dobby. He got, I think it was the second one. Harry Potter, like, set him free out of his life of indentured servitude. Yeah,
which is why he came back to save them in the 0 hour.
So, like, Jar Jar makes, like, kind of a redemptive comeback. And, like, dies a hero in the third of the prequels, too, doesn't he?
Yep. Yeah, he has the knife thrown by Bellatrix into the portal and gets fucking shanked.
Yeah, he's not as annoying in this one for some reason. I don't know why, if they changed it, or if I've just been beaten down by the teen romance in these movies. But, yeah, he was good. And then there was also the more curmudgeon-y guy... and he dies, and like he gets a knife in the belly. They try to teleport out, but Helena Bonham Carter throws her dagger, and it just goes into the little magic poof. I'm not really sure.
Respect for that, by the way. Like, everyone else is using magic. She's still like crazy enough to make her own shanks.
Yeah, they haven't really. She's just crazy and enjoys murdering people. That's her entire character so far.
Yeah. Helena Bonham Carter wearing the exact same costume she wears in every movie.
Yeah, she kept that one from Sweeney Todd. It's kind of and then just, this one, I knew it was part 1 of 2, so I wasn't expecting it to be much of a standalone, but it's not even really much of a cliffhanger either. That whole scene where he just creepily gets right up into dead Dumbledore's face and climbs on top of him in his coffin. That whole scene, it's like the end scene of the movie. It feels like it was like 2 minutes long.
Yeah.
And he just grabs the bad magic wand and goes, ah ha ha ha! I don't know if
he shoots a blue laser in the air.
Oh yeah, he fires up. Or I was gonna say, yeah, they set up the that he can't fight Harry Potter because their wands are twins.
But now he's got a different wand.
But then he had a different wand in the scene where they were chasing after him.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it was Draco's wand.
Yeah, and Harry Potter still won. But now Harry Potter's wand got blown up or something because Hermione, that's what you get when you lend a woman your wand. So Harry Potter's original wand is useless, so Dumbledore's original wand is probably fine now. I'm not sure if we're going to get more into the wand mythology in the thrilling conclusion.
Yeah, that's all part 2 is. It's just wand mythology for 3 hours almost.
Yes, I still don't understand. I assume that they've got to explain it. They've been dragging this out we're coming on the 8th movie now. I still don't really know what happened the night when Dumbledore tried to kill Harry and he couldn't. That's the kind of running mystery.
Voldemort.
Oh yeah, sorry. All these people have dumb names. Yeah, that's been the running mystery that they're probably building up to at the end, but I don't know where this I can't kill him because our wands are the same bullshit comes. Like, baby Harry Potter didn't have a twin wand to protect himself.
No, he just had his fucking head.
Yeah. And Harry's dad sacrificed himself. I think the story in the Three Brothers thing, like, there is a dad who takes off the cloak and sacrifices himself to die and passes on the cloak to Harry Potter. I don't know if that's supposed to be Harry and his dad.
Nah, I don't think so.
Or his dad is somewhere in that chain of
I think you're reading too much into that.
That would be a good twist.
Yeah,
J.K. Rowling, we need to rewrite that last book.
Yeah, get on that shit. I got a few ideas.
Stop yelling at trannies on Twitter. So that's as mentioned. I only have 2.5 pages in my notebook and that's the least amount of notes I've got for any of these.
I had 6 notes.
Did we cover everything that was in your 6 notes, or do you have any final thoughts?
Other things that aren't necessarily specific to this movie. Like I thought it'd be funny to have an abortion spell and
that would be just useful.
And just like
wouldn't need any government funding. An abortion spell would save clinic.
It'd be Jesus Christ. It'd be fun to have like a year where nothing happens in Harry Potter's school life. Like, yeah,
just a 2-hour long Quidditch match.
Just Harry Potter in the pregnancy scare.
Yeah, Ginny, him and Ginny, they decide to raw dog. And they don't want Voldemort to kill their baby, so they get ahead of him.
Well, not even so much that. He's just not ready for it, and he's consulting Ron, and Ron's telling him just ditch her. And
yeah, he's like, you don't want to just completely throw away your whole youth. One day you're zipping up a dress, the next day you're changing diapers.
Just turn into like a magic Degrassi.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, I guess I could ask you, do you remember the thing I hate the most that makes no sense? Maybe I'm curious on your feedback, is the game of Quidditch itself.
It's Calvin Ball.
Well, I like the aerial soccer type part of Quidditch, but my beef with it is the separate sneak chasing game that is just a one-on-one thing with like Harry Potter as the seeker,
and it completely invalidates the rest of it. Yeah,
like that's such a stupid part of that should be its own game.
Yeah, no, it's
a
bullshit.
One-on-one thing. Like, and how does that make the rest of the team feel? We just got 10 we're winning 10-0, and then this guy got the sneech, so who cares? 1,000 points.
They just invented a sport where they could just solve all their extracurricular needs, like, in one. Like, we'll just have them do fucking whatever in a field while we have our 2 star players go after each other.
It's, they should have some sort of spell blocking bubble over the match. Because there's rampant magic cheating in every movie. Somebody is cheating either for or against Harry Potter in every Quidditch match in these theories. Like, if you have a school of wizards and witches watching sports, there should be some way to counteract people messing around.
This is what happens when you have a sport designed by a theater kid. Like, they don't know.
That's what sports are like, right?
Now they're chasing a ball. That's good, right? Like, that's fine.
Yeah. There's lots of...
Quidditch sucks.
Yeah, and I mentioned this before. This one doesn't have it. They've got, like, the chase scene, which is better, but a lot of these movies have, like, a requisite cheesy flying scene where it's just one of those scenes where everybody's flying around and, like, looking at each other and smiling. Like, we're so whimsical right now. We're having so much fun. Like, 4's got
kind of the best one because it has to do with the Goblet of Fire games and the dragons and all that.
Yeah, that. But when it's just... Let's go to Hogwarts and we're gonna fly. And woo!
We're taking a magic car this year. Oh, I'm stuck in a tree.
Yeah, I don't like the flying. But it feels like a formula. They're like, we've got to have a flying scene in these movies.
What if they forget that they're wizards?
We've got to have a Quidditch game. And the stuff that is introduced in the movies that drops off, like that can happen if these movies existed on their own, like just through fan reaction, I guess, and you can kind of lean into the stuff that people like and push the other stuff in the background. But like some stuff, the books are already written and it's already kind of set what people like and what they didn't like. So I don't know if there's a lot of just, we changed our mind. Nobody liked this character, so we're going to just ignore Dobby for 4 movies. That makes sense if it's just the movies, but did they not already figure out whether people like Dobby or not? Maybe they like Dobby.
People love
books.
Dobby. People were actually devastated when that last book came out, when Dobby died.
Yeah, I feel like I didn't... who else... Yeah, Dobby died, which is a character that was probably in part 2 for about 10 minutes.
I like how they mourned Dobby, like they buried him and cried at his graveside. Meanwhile, Hedwig, who's been with Harry since day one, took a bullet for him like nobody gave a shit.
Yeah. And
your owl died.
There's very, very low stakes, and Mad-Eye Mooney dies, but nobody... I
didn't even know he died.
Yeah, like they said no, he and that guy that they captured, the Guy Ritchie gangster guy, he's like, I didn't know he was gonna fall off his broom. Like, they come back and they're like, yeah, he didn't make it, so he dies off screen. That's a character that I like the design of, and I like his googly eye, but we haven't really seen much of that character at all. The movie that he's in the most, he's actually just like David Tennant pretending to be him, so it's not really his personality. So everything we know about the character from the movies was David Tennant playing that guy.
Yeah.
And then he's in the Order of the Phoenix for like 2 seconds. He just shows up to like, here's the place, and that's pretty much it.
So he can look around a little bit and then he's gone.
Yeah, and this one is the same thing. He's there for a couple of minutes and then unceremoniously murdered off screen.
Why do you think he didn't drink the potion? Everyone else drank the potion.
What potion?
The one that changed everyone into little Harry Potter clones.
Well, I thought they were paired up. Like half of them were going to be Harry Potters and half of them were going to be the Protector guys.
It seemed like the only ones that weren't were Hagrid and Mad-Eye Mooney.
I think each of the Harry Potter doppelgangers had somebody with them that wasn't a Harry Potter.
Maybe I just didn't pay that close attention to it.
Yeah, I think each of the Harry Potter doppelgangers were matched up with like a Protector. And again, if you want to hide which one's the real Harry Potter, putting the real one with Hagrid is kind of a dumb move. like, obviously.
Yeah, you're gonna go for his oldest friend.
Yeah, so that's another thing. Yeah, they go to all this effort to make the doppelgangers, and then the bad guys knew about it immediately, and they're like, "Yep, that's the real Harry Potter."
You should have went with Mad Eye.
Yeah.
Maybe Mad Eye wouldn't have fucking died.
They should have just sent Harry Potter with the new Weasley cousin, or whatever, that's never been spoken of before. That would have been a better cover.
The one that's marrying...
He's a werewolf or something? He's got a scrape on his face?
The one that's marrying franchise favorite Fleur from Part 4.
Oh, I didn't even know that was a callback to any... I didn't know who any of these people were.
Yeah, you remember the French school? Like,
No.
all the women?
Oh, right. Yeah. When all the sexy ladies come, they've got a shot of just them walking down the aisle so you can see their asses walking down.
Butterflies are coming out of them?
Yeah, Harry Potter and Ron Weasley just creeping hard.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes more sense. Not really, but I understand it a bit better. But yeah, I think... I don't know. I like this movie. There's obviously silly things that we can make fun of, but like, I like most of them. I'm not sure what I thought coming into this. The first one, like, yeah, this is a kids movie, but it does mature a bit and get more interesting as it goes. And I
think the third one's probably the best overall, like as far as the movies go.
I like the fifth, or the Order of the Phoenix, whichever one that is. I think it's 5.
I think it's better in the book.
Yeah.
Yeah. The book's got too much.
Or no, was Order of the Phoenix 6? I don't remember.
That was 5. Okay. 6 was...
right, Half-Blood Prince.
Yeah.
So, we're going to see Harry Potter and Voldemort square off. We're going to finally find out what the deal is with Snape. Malfoy Jr. is probably going to help out the good guys because he's too much of a wuss to be a bad guy.
Who are you going to get for part... I have in mind, I know he'll say no, but I think it'd be fun to throw Arf into part 2 with like no prior knowledge of Harry Potter whatsoever.
I wouldn't be surprised if he has already seen all of these movies.
He's just keeping it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we've still got 4 Horcruxes to go, which seems like a lot to save for one movie.
They could have... They didn't need to have 2 movies. They had 2 movies because they wanted to stretch it out to make more money.
Yeah.
They could have easily made a 2.5-hour movie of both parts put together with some bullshit cut out.
Yeah, well, I guess... For the hardcore book people, I think they are, even though these movies are 2.5 to 3 hours long each, there's still a lot of stuff that's cut out from the books that people are disappointed about.
That's not why they made 2 parts, though.
Yeah. Another thing that David explained it to me a little bit on the last one, but they do not establish what the differences are between the 4 houses of Gryffindor in any of the movies.
No.
So it's really odd that people have, like, I'm a Hufflepuff, like, that's part of their identity, the people that are, like, fans of the series. It must be from the books, because it doesn't really go into the movie.
I don't think the books go too far into it. Like, from what I remember, I don't remember what Hufflepuff's thing is. I know what I thought it was, but...
I think they're just the weird but capable.
They're the theater kids.
Yeah.
And
Ravenclaw are the jocks.
Well, Ravenclaw is more the jocks. Gryffindor is
the heroes.
Yeah.
But Ron Weasley shouldn't be in there.
No, Ron Weasley's a fucking Hufflepuff through and through.
And Slytherin is just, they've got a whole quarter of the population of Hogwarts are straight up sociopaths.
Man, thank you for not dwelling on the gayest thing I've ever said.
What?
Ron is a Hufflepuff through and through.
No, it's just a statement of fact. I still don't understand why Hogwarts has an evil house. And they say in the first movie, every bad guy that's ever batted came from Slytherin. So I don't know why they teach these kids magic.
Well, everyone deserves an education, John.
Well, put those evil fucks in jail or something.
Just put them in, like, the magic crayon group. Like, magic special ed.
Voldemort can just pull their bad memories out of their ears and be like, no, you're a real bad apple. So you're going death penalty. You are probably going to grow up to almost murder me and then cry and somebody else will do it for you. But you almost did.
Is there a magic university?
Yeah, I don't know.
Like, are we gonna get like Magic Animal House?
We need to see the Hogwarts graduation ceremony. Surely that's coming at the.
I think it might be. Actually.
I think the graduation ceremony would be like at the end of A New Hope, where they get the medals. That's what I'm picturing. Something like an epilogue.
Hagrid doesn't get shit.
Oh no, Hagrid is standing and he smiles and nods. He smiles and nods and then starts making out with that tall lady that he's always making moves on in these movies.
I think part 2, if I remember correctly, is going to redeem like some of the boring stuff in part 1, though. Like,
I didn't find it boring. I don't know.
I
was on the edge of my seat. I was not making out with somebody during it. So.
No, that's fair. Yeah.
The only competition was Tachikoma the cat was laying next to me, and he took out his penis at one point.
So naturally, you suck that.
No,
very quickly.
I get very uncomfortable, and I put him on the floor. Sometimes, if you're too friendly with Tachikoma and you pet him too nice, the penis comes out. You put him on the floor and let him lick his penis for about a half hour.
Just leaving him with little kitty blue balls? That's not very fair. That's not very fatherly.
He doesn't have any balls at all. I don't know how he gets so excited. But
especially by you.
Oh, it's not just me. It's either me. He likes to hump May's blankets a lot. If anything's like a puffy blanket, he'll stand on it and just kind of gyrate. But anyway, that has been Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows, Part 1. My guest, Brian Godsoe.
Hey.
From the 4-Story Walk-Up podcast also, which I've been on lately and will probably continue to do.
I think so.
New sponsorship from a native Canadian weed business of some sort in the works. Very exciting. I'm sure Arif is excited.
He's just worried that they're going to listen to the podcast and be like, no, we want the fuck out of this.
So, then you're back where you started.
Yeah, we got literally nothing to lose.
The worst case scenario is what happens if you do nothing. So, we've got one more part, and that's it. Thanks for joining me.
Are you not doing Fantastic Beasts?
I don't know. Have you seen it?
I haven't seen it. I was going to say I'd come back on to do Fantastic Beasts because I haven't seen it yet.
I'll think about it. It's in the Harry Potter universe, I think.
Yeah,
I'm not really sure what it's about or what it has to do with Harry Potter, or it's another what's the expression? Kicking the dead horse? Is that what it is?
Beating a dead horse.
Beating a dead horse.
It takes place in the 20s, and it does have to do with Harry Potter lore.
Oh, is there like a Voldemort cameo as like evil the Omen Damien style?
I haven't seen it, but considering the sequel's name is The Crimes of Grindelwald, I imagine it has something to do with Grindelwald.
So. All right, well, we've got one more. And then I'm gonna, once it's all done, I'm gonna find a Harry Potter fan Reddit and post it in a thread there and see if that picks up some steam. Anyway,
we'll do Babysitter's Club after this.
The new one?
I don't know.
We'll read all of the books.
Babysitter's Book Club.
Yeah. All right. That's a podcast. Thank you for listening to this magic moment. That was Brian Godsoe.
Hey.
I'm John Forward. And that is
this magic moment.